It is the review show on a Monday evening, the official, unofficial podcast of the Melbourne Demons. The DeeBrief. I'm your host, Adrian Hawthorn, and joining me, very proud to be joined by no other than the big kahuna himself, Scott Hawthorn. Welcome.
Back by popular demand.
Good one, mate. I told a few people at the footy on Saturday. They said, when's Scotty getting back on the review show? And I said, funnily enough, this week. And I didn't know if it was actually going to materialise because it can be a little bit sketchy with Scotty Hawthorn. He obviously commits to family over this podcast, which is obviously not the right thing to do. Scotty.
When I commit.
Yes.
I don't flake like Toff.
Just throwing him under the bus straight away.
It's comfortably have to do it. Too many times, Toff.
But the thing is, you said to me, and it was very simple.
He hates Charlie Spargo too. I want to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about whatever. There's plenty to get off our chest. But you said, look, I'm going to be at the game, so there's absolutely no excuses. I'm very proud of the fact that you got down to your very first game as well against on the weekend. But overall, disappointing not to get the chocolates. I thought there were lots of positive come out of it. But let's just talk about the big day out, Scotty. You're with a few of your close friends. You got Will to the footy.
Yep.
What did you make of it? It was a beautiful day.
Yes, it was a stunning day. So we had our good friends Scotty and Ali down from Queensland, who are Scotty's Cam Wood, one of my best mates, Scotty's his best friend. So they grew up, or they didn't grow up, but they played together their first couple of seasons at the Lions, Brisbane Lions. So we pulled out a few highlights on Friday night. I cooked pizzas for the crew, and we pulled out a few highlights of Scotty playing for the Lions and put it on the big screen for the kids to see, and then we put Woody up.
Oh, God.
It's pretty hard to find highlights of Cam Wood, but we found him.
Scotty Clouston only played 2 games. How'd you find those highlights?
Oh, he had him.
Oh, was he the next player for 2 games of footy?
He had him dialed up. It's pretty hard for him, though. We were talking about it. He was behind his key forward, centre forward. He was behind Brown and Bradshaw.
Oh, God.
So some decent footballers in that team.
Do you know what? Scotty Clouston, a shout out to him. He probably wishes he was behind.
He loves this. He loves the DeeBrief.
He probably wishes he was behind Van Rooyen and Jefferson because he could have been a 200 gamer for us.
He 4th in the Liston medal in, I think, the premiership year for Willie. So
yep.
He had an illustrious VFL career and went to Avondale Heights where Woody went and played after he finished with Carlton, and Woody did his ACL. So, we had the boys. We went into the Jeep. Beautiful day. Got in there a bit earlier. Parked in Yarra Park. Rolled up. Kicked the footy. Got sunburnt. It was just stunning. It was an absolute stunning day. Went in with no expectation. You were carrying on, telling me that we were going to win. I told you we'd lose by 30-60, and yeah, I was disappointing. Boys had a ball though. So Hugo, Scotty's boy, my young bloke Will, and then Cam and I sat with Scotty in the crowd there in the MCC and cheered on the D's. And I was so proud, like to watch. And you told me before the game how good Harvey Langford is live. My God, he's got one of the best steps I've ever seen, and he looks slow, but he's not slow. He slows the play down around me, and I hate to say it, but it's very Pendlebury-esque. I think he's as damaging on that left peg as what Pendles is, and we can talk about it in depth tonight, I'm sure, but he's just clean over the ball. He did not fumble once, whereas senior footballers like Petrarca and Cozzy fumbled all day, and there was no reason to be fumbling. It was the absolute premium conditions to play footy. So I think it's a little monkey on the shoulder for track and maybe Cozzy as well. But we've got to lock this kid up, put him on a 12-year contract at 2.3 million because he's a superstar. He's going to win the Rising Star by the length of the Flemington Straight. So very happy. And then his other mate that we recruited as well, Lindsay, who was a pleasure to watch as well, turns on a dime on that left foot, like 2 lefties either side. It's pretty cool.
Well said, Scotty. And I think you've started in a really good spot. Why not, off the top, talk about Harvey Langford? Yes, we can go into the details around why Melbourne didn't get the 4 points. Hawthorn just showing their class in that last quarter. But let's talk about Harvey Langford. and Xavier Lindsay and maybe Caleb Windsor and maybe Jake Bowie and maybe Trent Rivers and start talking about some of...
And Sparrow.
He was okay. I thought he was all right. He provided a bit of pressure, but still gets a little bit lost and he's not doing enough for me. So I'm not going to bracket him in with those others, which sounds really harsh. But
that's that next tier. Like, he'll be a Neil Bullen. He'll be that...
Maybe. I'd still...
That B grader, maybe an A grader. The other ones you spoke of, like...
What about the future?
You could already see it. We just need to... It's just frustrating because we said at half-time we've opened the door to them. We should have been 4, potentially 5 goals up at half-time. And
sorry about that for now.
And gassed it. No, I know. It's not... And everyone knew it was coming, so it wasn't as harsh. I think it would have been more harsh if we were 5 goals up and we stopped like we did and got rolled by a couple of points or a goal or two. That would have hurt a lot more, but definitely the ball use. Like, there's some there's some absolute gems in that pack, like that group that you just said. It's
mate, and this is the thing, and I think now it's just the realization that we're in a development year, and this year needs to be one where we lay a platform for 2026 because, unfortunately, too far behind the 8 ball. You start 0-5, your chances of making the finals are pretty small. So that's just what's happened and what's transpired. But what we've seen in recent weeks is the evolution of a Harvey Langford who has played less than 10 games. And he resembles the qualities of a Scott Pendlebury, a Marcus Bontempelli, people liken him to Patrick Cripps in traffic. Like, people are saying these things that aren't just Melbourne supporters as well. There are a few opposition fans that are sending me texts and talking about this kid and just how bloody good he is. So it's super, super exciting to see. And you're right, Xavier Lindsay, just incredibly composed. There was a contest out on the Shane Warne stand in the third quarter when we're making a bit of a run of it. And he beat 2 or 3 Hawthorn opponents, found his way out of traffic, and then hit up a target and was involved in a scoring chain that Harvey Langford actually finished off. And not only is he composed and he's cool and he's got a great skill set, he's also super tough as well. So Xavier Lindsay, another one that we can hang our hat on. But
look at the way the ball use, mate. The ball use of these kids is better than blokes that have been on the list for 8 years. Like, Christian Petrarca butchers the ball, like butchered it all day. And then Harvey Langford, clean inside 50. Bowie, clean inside 50. So the future's bright. But I think you could see Track was enjoying himself more by having that link up with Lindsay. I think, if anything, Track should get around these kids and be their mentor. Don't teach them how to kick like he kicks, but be the mentor to teach them the inside ball stuff, because he went into the midfield and he didn't look out of place either. So
no, I agree with that. And on Track, I think you're actually right, because if you look at the raw data, Track had 10 inside 50s, and the next best for us was, funnily enough, Oliver with 5 inside 50s. And he muffed up too many kicks for me going inside, where he either had the red mist and went too early, or conversely, he took too much time and he got himself in a bit of a muddle. You got a feel for Track. He still had the 2 goal assists. He should have had 3 goal assists because Jacob Van Ryan dropped the put in the goal square.
No.
And Petrarca's ended up with a pretty good day in the end, 14 contested possessions.
No, Track was great. He was fantastic.
I actually thought as well, Scotty, the thing that I loved about Track's game, if we talk about the senior head, is his pressure was elite. Those 2 holding the ball tackles, it was very involved. He was the 3rd best pressure player for Melbourne on the day, and he got involved in all the dirty stuff. But you're absolutely right. Now we're starting to see the reason why Tim Lamb and Jason Taylor have gone out and recruited guys like Harvey Langford and Xavier Lindsay, and Caleb Windsor's disposal is getting better, which is great because he can break the lines, as we know. And then Jake Bowie he's a Rolls Royce when it comes to disposing of the ball. So clearly there was a directive a few years ago to get more class and polish into the team. And you and I and Benny Lee have spoken about that at length. We speak about it all the time. But to actually be there on Saturday, Scotty, and witness how clean these kids, you must have loved that.
Oh, it's just a spatial awareness. It's just it was nice to see. Like, there's not many players over the journey that have got that. Like, you've got Bont, you've got Cripps to an extent. Pendlebury's the number one at it. Buckley had that. James Hird had that. It looks like time slows down around them, but that little sort of he didn't even take it. He didn't even dummy. He just took a little step back and then a little step forward, and then he's out clear in transition. It's like this kid just like this stuff you can't teach. Like it's not a taught skill. So you either have it or you don't. It's nice to see. And he was on the MCC side for the whole game. So
It was awesome.
And the boys, I was talking to the boys about, I said, this kid's the future. And they like, Woody was looking at the stats the whole way through. He's like, this kid's had 8 till quarter time. And then he's like, he's just racking him out. And then he kicked 3. Did he kick 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, kicked 3. So.
And we only had 7, Scotty.
Imagine if you had a target over 6'6" that you could hit up on a lead. That's the deficiency we have. We've got all these great ball users now, but there's no one to bloody kick it to.
No, so
but the composure to hold the ball as well, like tracked it at once really well. But we couldn't believe there's no back leading, there's no J leads, there's no fat side kicks anymore. And then we watched some footy, I think it was Saturday night, and you see the traditional forwards in Fogarty does that J lead, does that run back to the square, push off your opponent, come up at the ball. Melbourne are forever just leading back, and then it's got to be one of the best kicks in the world to hit them, and we don't have elite kicks. So that fat side kicks, I don't know why it's not used in the game anymore, but...
Well, I think both teams did a really, really good job in the first 3 quarters in particular before the damn wall breaks and Hawthorn's class prevails, where they were both getting so many men behind the ball when they conceded possession. So as soon as they lost it, every player was just blocking up the corridor. And both teams did it to each other. So it was quite strange to see a bit of a kick mark game from Hawthorn. But I think in some weird way, that was them respecting the fact that Melbourne have brought really good pressure in the last 3 weeks on the ball carrier. So they tried to pick their way through our setup like that. And then we tried to do it to them. So it was a bit cat and mouse for a long time. And the most disappointing thing, Scotty, is just the fact that we couldn't finish off our good work. And we know our forward line is suffering in terms of personnel, and I'll get to that in a moment. But to be plus 13 in clearance, plus 5 in centre clearances, plus 13 in contested possessions, plus 15 tackles. We've seen this before. We've seen this script many times under Simon Goodwin. To kick the 7-14 was really frustrating. The thing I'd say, though, and 4-8 from set shots and 1-4 from set shots inside 30 metres, which, again, is just alarming. The only thing I'll say is I don't think you can really blame the coaching staff. I think they set the game up perfectly. They gave us an opportunity to potentially win it against a highly fancied Hawthorn. And if not for that 7-14 that we accumulate on the scoreboard, it could be a very different day where you're 20, 30 points up at 3/4 time. You've probably got enough of a lead to see it over the line. Hawthorn would have come with a rush. There's absolutely no doubt, because we've clearly got problems with our final terms, which I'll get to later in the show. But I looked at the way that the game state was up until 3/4 time. I said to Rollo and I said to Richie, you know what? If we don't win the game here, I think we've seen, I'm not going to call it an honourable loss because I don't really believe in them in terms of even where we are in our journey. I know we're blooding a lot of young players, but there was enough there to work with. And you've got to remember, even though the difference between Melbourne and Hawthorn from an age and games perspective is very, very, very minor, they're only just shading us in those two categories. They've played more footy together. There's more continuity between them. And it's their back half for me, Scotty. And that's where they won the game. They generated most of their score from the back half as well. And from stoppage, that was where the game was won as well. And they were more experienced around stoppages and how they created score from there. And I think we were just a little bit naive in the way that we turned the ball over in particular areas. And they just seized on that. And they're one of the best slingshot teams in the comp, along with the likes of GWS and Collingwood. But this is one of the reasons why if we have to capitalise on scoring opportunities in the first 3/4 of a game because we might have a perceived fitness issue in last quarters, it's going to be really hard to live off this. In the first quarter, we looked out to the forward 50, and they're in their 6-6 positions, and Rollo and I counted them, and it was Sharp on Sicily. I was like, fucking hell. Jeffo was standing there in the forward line. Ed Langdon was there as the high half forward. He's been doing that role recently. Tommy Sparrow, Charlie Spargo, and an out-of-form Bailey Fritsch. And we looked at each other and we're like, geez, it's going to be hard to win today. And that's probably the biggest problem at the moment. If you throw a Jacob Van Rooyen in there and the fact that we didn't play Daniel Turner forward, and it kills you that Harrison Petty went out with concussion. So you just think about the makeup of that 6.
Yeah.
You're always going to be up against it when you got guys like Sicily, you got guys like CJ and Weddle, who I thought was really impressive at times as well. Manufacturing score with a front half like that, you're just pushing shit uphill. And that's
they're 5 goals that were gettable. They weren't rushed kicks. They were all 5 set shots and a couple on the run. So yeah, but again, you said that list, like there's an average height error of 5 foot nothing. So
it's not only that, it's just the quality, Scott. Like
that as well. Like we're relying on midfield goals or stoppage goals up forward, but like you've got to think, you've got Max Gawn, one of the best marks in the league and one of the best competitors. Like, why don't we just rest him in the goal square? He's going to take 2 defenders.
Yeah, it's a good call.
And then you just put Cozzy underneath him with Kate Chandler. And Sparrow's a great crummer as well. Like, it spins me out. And you could move, like, Jack Viney's really good at the feet as well. So play Jack Viney as a defensive forward.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
How can't these things, the magnets, be moved around? They moved Dan Turner into the forward line very late.
Too late.
Very late.
Game was gone. And I think we really missed a trick there. I wouldn't have been opposed to a Blake Howes coming in and playing Disco's role behind the ball, particularly given that.
What about that other kid that played in the preseason?
Which one? Jed Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. And this is the thing, the way that the game actually played out, the chip, kick mark, trying to pierce through our setup, because we weren't having to defend in transition for most of the game, which is where I worry with guys like Blake Howes, it's probably tailor-made for him to come into the lineup and play that role. So I think we desperately needed Disco to go forward in that second quarter. Or maybe even that third quarter. And I genuinely...
give some height.
Well, we just missed a trick, Scotty. I think, and given he had that great cameo against the Eagles in the second half up forward last week, I just think it's one in hindsight where you go, oh, fuck, maybe we did need to move him forward a little bit earlier. But they
weren't being damaged. Like, Chol didn't do anything until the last quarter, so you just roll the dice. And he's a flash in the pan. So, yeah, it's just... I don't know. The longevity of Max, him getting smashed behind the ball, running back with a flight into contests, give him a break up forward. Bring in Will Verrill or give Fullerton another crack. Like, I don't think
Campbell.
Fullerton. Hey?
Tommy Campbell
you would know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it's true.
You're just going to get an honest ruckman that's going to bring it to ground. He might roll forward, might kick you a goal. Like, he's a tractor. He'll just get around the ground. He'll do what you need to do. He's a bit of an axe. He breaks someone else's larynx. Like, I think we need to start looking at what this side looks like as Max slows down. Like, Max hasn't slowed down this year, but the toll of this year is going to weigh heavily on Max Gorm going into 2026.
It might not. And this is the thing. It's very easy.
But he's not in the fountain of youth, mate. He's at the back end.
I just think it's too easy to throw that out there.
We need Kalani.
Yeah, we do.
I'll go up with Russell Robinson and I'll punch Jeff in the face. I'll hold Jeff and Russell can punch him in the face if he sends him to the Gold Coast.
Yes, Jeff's getting threatened by not only his former teammate, but a bloke that he's never met as well. So that's.
I had him on my back my whole childhood.
True.
Imagine he rolls into the D's and he's got 34.
Love that.
But you saw the post that he did. I don't know whether it's a subliminal message that to future father sons. That just says to me that, like,
what is it?
They owe us. That means we're owed this one because Mac Andrews should be playing for the D's.
We're owed this one. I don't know if you necessarily owed something, but it would feel very jarring and frustrating if Kalani chose the Suns. However, I could probably understand it just given the fact he's grown up on the Gold Coast his whole life. He's trained with his friends. He's been at that academy for a while. So
Nothing better than playing at the G, especially when it's 23 degrees in the middle of March. No, what are we? April?
May.
No, we're in May. Shit. I skipped 2 months.
It's Wallace's birthday tomorrow. Shout out
Is
to
it?
him. Yeah.
There you go.
Wallace will be 5 tomorrow. Everyone's like,
the golden retriever.
Who the fudge is Wallace? Yeah. So big.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one. You'd really like. I was watching the baseline footy stuff on whatever it is, Insta, and they're showing highlights of him playing in the. What do they call it? NAB Cup now? I don't know what it's called.
What's it called? Colts?
I don't know. But he looks good. He moves well for a big, tall, lanky kid. He reminds me a lot of Sam Darcy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, they're tipping him to go like he's a 20 to 30, and a 20 to 30 pick as a ruck's pretty impressive in this day and age, knowing that most of them probably don't go until that vicinity at the early.
We're getting Luke Jackson back anyway, so it'll be
What's
fine.
What's going on with that? What's the latest?
They don't get along. They just don't work, those two.
No, but we're not talking about that. Mate, if Dogger wants to come home, I'm all about it. But, like, is that a genuine link? I got text today. I was at the day job. I've got one more week there.
I don't know. I haven't watched social media today.
I haven't had a look either.
I've been working my ass off.
I've got people just texting me Dogger ... And I'm like, oh, my God. Is he?
Oh, mate, it'd be sick.
Is he still in the cards?
It's going to be Trent Crode. He's going to come home.
I love that. That'd be great. I just want to get your thoughts, Scotty. So this actually did create quite a lot of conjecture after the game. And people were split on this, very split on it. But Clayton Oliver had a tagging role. He played on Jai Newcomb. He limited him to 19 disposals. Jai Newcomb just nowhere near his imperious best. And I just went into this going, well done. He put his hand up. He's come back from a week off from perceived mental health issues. He's been given a role that has been Jack Viney's role for the last 3 weeks. And I thought he did really well, did it with aplomb. And I tip my hat to Clayton Oliver. There are other people, though, going, oh, what a waste. Why are we making him a tagger? He's on this mega contract and getting the contract in their head. I don't know if it's necessarily about the contract. I think it's about the role.
He just wants to be happy playing footy, and we lost Jack Viney, so someone had to step into it. And who's better than someone like Clayton Oliver to do it? Had a week off, and he doesn't have to go out and get his own. He just has to follow a bloke and stop him from getting it and having an impact. I think everyone needs to pull their heads in.
Not everyone, just there's a portion of supporters.
Just needs to be a hot. Well.
But do you know what's really funny, Scotty? What if, this is why football is so fickle and it annoys me. What if Melbourne kick accurately and they take their chances? It's a famous victory. Would the same people that are having a go saying, oh, Clayton Oliver should never be a tagger again, despite the fact he actually performed the role effectively, they'd be going, oh, what a masterstroke.
Yeah.
Geez, that was clever, just to get Clayton to curb the influence of Jai Newcomb. Is that the way that people would have spun it? If we'd gotten up the other way? It seems ridiculous. Seems absolutely ridiculous to me.
It doesn't matter what he gets paid. We asked him to do a role and he's getting paid to do it, and we asked him to do it. So who cares if he's a superstar? He still did okay, but he had a week off. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I just needed to make that point because
I've just quickly read what they're talking about. Max Gawn made a slight remark on Triple M about
Dogger.
Look, Dogger coming back. He's coming back. If Max Gawn says it, it's happening.
What did he say though? Do you know?
Oh, just like a little, a little comment to there's so many people that got the trade back to WA and then they come back, not mentioning one that potentially could come back soon. Let's hope.
Oh, he's just throwing out a little nugget there, Max. Throwing out a little nugget.
Why would you want to be a Freo? They'll never win a flag.
No, they're cursed. They're Freo.
Ever.
They'll
never win.
They're like St Kilda. They're cursed.
West Coast will win one before they win one.
West Coast. Oh my God, they're a joke. They're an absolute.
But they're the most wealthy club in.
Them in Collingwood, yes. Now we have to talk. We can get positive. We can yin and yang tonight. We can get positive. We can get negative. We have to get negative about this because this is a genuine concern. So,
umpires.
They're fucking jokes.
Yes.
No, but I'm not talking
The game's
umpires
cooked. Why do you think I don't go anymore? It's so frustrating.
I'm not talking umpires yet, Scotty, so hold your
Oh, well,
horses.
they suck. They've sucked for the last 2 seasons. And I've got a conspiracy theory, and I reckon a few of the debriefers will get on this.
We're not even meant to be talking umpires yet.
The ark's in the umpire's ears, and the week before, they're calling calls, they're stopping plays and going, no, change the decision. I reckon they're in their ear when the game's getting close, they're going, no, for TV ratings, boys, maybe just pay a few more free kicks to Carlton here, or just let them get back in the game a bit. Like, it's all scripted now.
Oh, my God. Is this the Truman Show? Is it? So the AFL has turned into the Truman Show. Is that what you're saying?
It's all about money and clicks, mate. They want the games to be close. They want teams to get back. They want the momentum shifts. I reckon if you go back through the tape over the last few years, all the momentum shifts have come from poor umpiring decisions in crucial points in game that then flips the table.
Do you know what? The Melbourne ruined the script because this apparently is one of the closest rounds on record, an average margin of 10 points, and we were the blowout at 35 because we couldn't kick straight. So
how the hell
the script?
There's 3 or 4. How many? There's like 10 of them on the field now, umpiring.
There's a few,
and then there's an arc that watches it all. How the hell was Cozzy Pickett not paid a free kick in the goal square?
Arc can't pay it, Scott. You can't go back and retrospectively.
Mate, the Arc's in their ear. The Arc's in their ear.
You can't go back and retrospectively give free kicks.
We need a captain's call like the NRL.
Sure. But that one, the Cozzy one in the goal square, do you know what? There's a worse one than that, in my opinion. Genuinely worse. CJ leaps at the ball, hits one of the Melbourne players in the head with his knee, and they called an illegal block. No one touched him.
No. You know that? No. Go back to the Cozzy one. Cozzy gets legged. Sicily threw the ball around the goalpost.
Yes. It was crazy. It was
like a glitch in the Matrix. There's a glitch, and they just switched off. Maybe all the umpires are robots.
It was crazy. But the CJ one, he just leapt at the ball, kneed a Melbourne opponent in the head. There was no illegal block whatsoever, and he got an illegal block free kick. It was mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
But they've been bad all year. They were bad all last year. They're not getting better.
They are getting worse. I agree with you.
They have to pay these blokes on a full-time salary. They can't have a part-time job. Like, they need professional umpires.
Yeah, great.
And they need more ex-people that used to play the game to help. I get it's a hard job adjudicating it. There's so many different rules and so many different interpretations. But this stand rule, and when you roll up to the mark, like, they don't set the mark quick enough. The umpire's not quick enough in there to go and set the mark. There was a decision that got paid against us for 50, and then only about a quarter later, Hawthorn did the exact same thing, and it was no issue. I just think some umpires interpret it different, and some go off the emotion, and some have got no fucking idea at all. So it's a shit job. Like, I get it. Like. But see, the junior grassroots, like, we got kids we got like under 13s and 15s kids that come down and umpire the AFL. They come down and do the under 8s and under 10s. They get paid like $50. So it's not bad for an hour or two on a Sunday morning. But they're all kids that play the game. So they understand it. They get the rules. They play to the rules. It's
horrible.
It's so bad. Everyone, they say viewing numbers are up, but that's because you got to pay for all these subscriptions these days and all this other bullshit. And
there's nothing else to watch. That's why.
I watch the NRL, and it's adjudicated pretty poorly as well. But I don't know. It's just
I've said, I don't know if I say this often on this podcast, but I definitely say it to the likes of you and some of my nearest and dearest. I enjoy watching the round ball more, and I have for ages. And footy was at
VAR ruined that as well.
It has to a degree, but it's still football's pretty pure. The one thing that has gone out the window a little bit is suddenly you can win the ball with an aggressive tackle, but go through the player and it's a red card. And I've never agreed with that. So there certainly is or there are rather.
The more and more AFL goes on, they're so concerned about the longevity of the head, which is sacrosanct.
But Scotty, they're gonna lose a lot of people. Like I had a chat off air with Marker the other night. Like I genuinely think, and I reckon you'd be in the same basket here. We might get to our 50s, 60s, and we're the guys that aren't watching AFL anymore. Because
I'm already there. Like, round, what are we? 8. And I've gone to 9. I've gone to my first game.
Yeah, but you're still watching them. You're still watching.
Not as intent as what I used to. I used to be all weekend. I'd watch footy, like every good game. Like I didn't even finish the showdown the other night. I went to bed at 3/4 time. Like
I'm getting there as well, Scotty. Do you know what's really weird? I would lock myself in for a Friday night. I don't know if this is kids related, but a similar thing if I'm in on a Saturday night. And there was no world where I was ever going to bed at halftime or 3/4 time. Suddenly it's about a 50-50 ratio. I'm like, hey, you know what?
It's not about being a dad either. It's just that it's not the same content as what it used to be.
It's not, and it's disappointing, and it's getting worse. And Saturday afternoon was an example of some of the poorest umpiring decisions I've witnessed in the flesh. The Cosy one, the CK one, so many more.
But it's that in the skill level, mate. Like, it's a diluted league. There's talent. There's not as much talent as what there once was when there was less teams in the competition.
I disagree with that.
I reckon there's too many blokes on the list that are just athletes that don't actually understand how to play the game. And most of the ones that don't understand are run with players or they playing behind the ball because there's no real... I don't know. I just think it's a bit diluted. And you wait till Tassie comes in, it's only going to be even worse.
The only thing I'll say to that is, and this is easy to say when you're someone that's born in 1989, but I mean, peak footy for me was late 90s, early 2000s. But again, how easy is that to say when as a child, your fanaticism and your love for the game is through the roof? It's off the Richter scale. The second part to that is... It was bruising, it was physical, it was free-flowing, it was 160 to 130, it was let rip, it was contest versus contest, there was hardly any zoning, there was no flooding, there was no nothing, it was just open and 1v1s all over the ground. So it's really easy to sit here and say that, but I'm genuinely concerned about the state of the game and where the game is heading in the next 5, 10, 15 years. And... how far can it go, Scott? Are we suddenly going to get to a point where someone actually flies for a specky and hits someone in the back of the head with their knee and they get rubbed out? Is that where we're heading?
Yeah. They need to get a bargaining agreement with the Players Association regarding the head because we've seen a few cases and, like, I don't want to go into it too much, like my mate Macca with his CTE and everything like that, but I get it. I think a lot of these collisions and a lot of these things are happening because the speed of the game's so much faster than what it was. There's a lot more athletes that they're trained to go at this fast pace and speed, and not that they didn't hit as hard in the old days, and they probably played through a lot more of these concussions than what was going on right now, but I don't know, the speed of it. I think it's the speed of it, but I think just the lack of the quality. Like, I would love it. It'll never happen, but I'd love there to be a 2-tier system like the Premier League. Like, have the top echelon. You have your top 10 teams and then your bottom 10 and have to play in a championship to try and get into the AFL and get into the top tier. Because then, and it might sound shit, but the teams that are in that bottom 10, at least you're going to live some... Like, you're going to live some premierships. You're going to be able to hold up a cup. Think about St Kilda and others and us. Yeah, 100%, because it's worked for hundreds of years overseas and it works in other leagues. I just think...
There's a problem with that, though. You know what happens?
It's money.
Well, the rich will get richer.
The rich get richer. Collingwood will always be at the top and West Coast. And
yeah, exactly.
All those sort of clubs. But it'll never happen. But I just think, it's just too diluted. I mean, it's not as close as what it was, the AFL. Like,
close in terms of what, though? What do you mean? Because I think the margins between teams have never been finer.
True.
What are you trying to say?
I think just the talent. Like, it's just, it's not what it was.
No.
They need to, but in saying that, they could bring in a VFL and AFL resis again. Like, I know that's hard to do for the further estates, but
the competition is cooked. The fact that there are buys during it and the calendar doesn't always line up with the teams that you're playing.
you need to play each other once.
But
Everyone plays each other once or twice.
It's a farce. Why have we got the northern states in the Victorian Football League as well? Like the Sample and the Waffle are great examples. It's grassroots. Marco and I spoke about this at length the other night, so we won't go into the detail of
Different styles of footy. We're rambling a bit, but
no, we need to.
But it's just
You rambled about the umpires, and I need to bring you back, and I need to speak about the fade outs in the last quarter. So, getting back to the reality of Melbourne.
Is that youth?
Well, that's what we're about to dissect. So, Melbourne are 3-6 after 9 games. We're 15th. That's the reality. We've seen some promising signs against some pretty lowly opposition if you throw Fremantle into the mix. They're so Jekyll and Hyde as well. We saw some positive signs against Hawthorn, but what's not positive, Scott, is this. This is our first 9 rounds. I'm going to run through it. GWS last quarter.
Yeah.
8 points for, opposition 22. North Melbourne, 8 points for, opposition 49. Can you believe we conceded 49 points to North Melbourne? That is fucking stupid. Gold Coast 14-38, Geelong 3-26, Essendon 8-31, Freo 12-21, Richmond 10-25. Yes, Max Gorn was off for half of the last quarter. West Coast, we won it 36-33, only +3, and then Hawthorn on the weekend, the exclamation mark 7-41. This is a problem, Scotty. This is a massive problem, and we saw it at the back end of last year as well. And I know we had a lot of different personnel out in the second half of last season, but is it just purely the fact, this is my simple, basic theory, that we've got some raw kids in the team that maybe aren't up to the level, that don't have the tank or the engine yet to run games out fully? And if you're 2, 3, 4 players off in terms of the maximum gut running fitness that you need to run out a game of AFL, is that enough for Melbourne to just go off the boil so much in last quarters? What's your theory? Or is it mental?
I think it's just mental.
Just mental. That's a problem. That's a massive problem.
It's been a problem since 21.
Not necessarily, but there were shades of it at times. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's just there's enough bodies in there that have done enough pre-seasons that they can run out a game. There are a lot of kids. But then you look at other clubs that are as young as us. You look at North Melbourne. They looked a bit gassed last night, and others. But I don't know. You just got to grit the teeth. I think once they got that little bit of a flow on it, I just feel when we get 2 or 3 kicked in a row, the head drops, and then the floodgates are open. Like, there's no lockdown or there's no change up though from the system. We just roll the dice again. And they run through us, so roll the dice again. I just think there's no plan B. There's never been a plan B with Goody, so definitely needs to be addressed because we shouldn't have been losing by 35 points in that game. If anything, we should have come out in that fourth quarter and given it a nudge.
Yeah, but Max Gorn missing that shot at the start of the last, an opportunity to give us momentum. And if you're right, and it is a mental thing, and we need to get the first to the last, which is always important. Who gets the first can kick on. So disappointing that we didn't get it because maybe it could have been a different story. But then also...
goal kicking, missing goals is infectious though.
Yeah, but
we've seen that forever with Melbourne Footy Club. One bloke misses, then that pressure goes on the next bloke, he misses, and it just snowballs and snowballs. We've spoken about this at length. It just snowballs and snowballs. They can't seem to break that mould.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it definitely had an effect on the players. Like the second quarter alone, Sharp, Jefferson, Cozzy, Windsor, miss after miss after miss after miss after miss. And
Bailey.
We were 2-8 at one point. Yeah, Bailey at the end of the first quarter. The Chandler one that hits the post, unlucky, could have got us out to 9 points late in the third quarter. And then the Cozzy one from the boundary, yes, admittedly a tough shot. And I think the ball was actually over the line when he took the mark, but that would have got us out to 10 points incredibly late in that.
Kicked a good one through the middle with that chain of handball.
Incredible. And do you know what? To flip it on its head and just quickly, what does everyone else think? Like, why are we fading out in last quarters? Please send in your DMs to the Instagram account. I'll get around to it, maybe use some on the Wednesday preview show. I'm in the studio a little bit earlier this week to preview the Gabatoir clash. But let us know. Tell us what you think. Why are we fading out in last quarters? Is it a mixture of fitness and the mental side that Scotty's talking about? I am completely and utterly mystified by it, and I want to know what other people think. But where was I going with that point?
It'd be something to do with the pressure in that first half. Our pressure's enormous in that first half.
It was.
And then it was okay in the third. So it could come down to that. It could be just tired legs. I think that one or two goal in a row and then heads drop. I don't know.
Maybe. Now, I found that my point back. The ball movement. Okay. So the ball movement in terms of the slow kick mark that we were effectively just copying from Hawthorn, we were both kind of doing it to each other. It was what it was. It wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing game from that perspective. However, the thing that I think we've finally figured out, and you're absolutely spot on about that Cozzy goal, that was one example of quite a few over the course of the afternoon where it looks like we've figured out the forward handball game.
Yeah.
And it's something that hasn't been a part of Goodwin's side and hasn't been a part of this makeup. We've been very, very boring, long down the line, repeat stoppages, bit of Carlton about us, or Carlton have a bit of us about them now from that 2021 era. But to see us finally click from a forward handball game perspective on the weekend and get some really good links and chains going and some drive, some run and carry and breaking the lines, I think that's one of the things that I've been most impressed with in the last month. And long may it continue, because I actually thought it was really good on the weekend, Scotty. That was a positive.
Yeah, that chain handball in front of us as well, down the wing. That link up where I think it was Windsor, Harvey, Track, Chandler, and then Track got it out the other side, and then instead of pulling the trigger, which he'd normally do, he held the ball up and hit up a player in the 50. Can't remember who that was.
Sharpie.
Might have been Sharpie. Yeah, that's right. So,
yep. It was good.
It was good. I think the ball movement, it looks good. I think everyone's doing it now, the forward handball. When we all played it, if you had a forward handball, you get dragged. Like the whole game, so you're always hitting the quarterback. You never handballed it forward, you get in trouble. There's hospital hand passes and everything like that. The flow looks good. I don't think we pulled the trigger in board as much as I'd like to see. There's a few opportunities where we could have pulled that trigger, but
yeah,
that's a pretty daunting kick to hit, especially with the way they set up. But yeah, it's so tactical now. You can see the zoning from both sides. As soon as you get it locked in your 50, there's that zone, and it's like 4-5-4, and yeah, they just roll up. But I think the pressure acts and what we did in that first, we made them look second rate. And I don't, after seeing Hawthorn live, I'm not actually that impressed with what they're putting out there. I can see that when it gels, it looks all right, but I don't think they're a threat this year. I think they're a top 8 side, but I don't think they're a top 4 side. There's better clubs in the league.
I think they're timing their run. I actually think they'll be there. There's a few people that have said that, and it's very easy to get.
I hope they're not.
It's very easy to get.
I hope they're not.
It's very easy to get bitter.
Why the fuck are they selling wizard hats? This kid's not even. He's played 2 years.
He
ducks for every free kick.
Yeah, he's a bit of a coward.
He's a coward, and he leads with his chin.
Yeah,
he'll get it knocked off one day, hopefully. But
yeah,
you'd
love to have him though.
I'd have Cozzy over him any day of the week.
Of course you would.
Or I'd have Charlie Spargo over him.
I wouldn't.
Toffle like that.
I wouldn't. No,
Charlie was great early.
He was all right. He was good. I thought
he was everywhere. He was the connector. He was getting plenty of the ball. He can't kick over a jam tin, and he kicked one outside 50, and it went half post high. So he just jagged it. So
he was all right.
I don't know. I think we definitely would have a Nick Watson if a Nick Watson was available.
Well, the reason why we'd have a Nick Watson is because of what I explained before, and it's the problem moving forward. And yes, Jake Melksham coming back in, Harrison Petty coming back in is going to help solve this. Maybe Disco Turner goes up forward. When we get Jake Lever back in the next couple of weeks, that'll be big. But this is a big, big problem. And it's hard to watch at the moment. But Bailey Fritsch, Jacob Van Rooyen and Matt Jefferson combined had 5 marks. They did not kick a goal between them, Scotty. It's a massive, massive issue, and I keep talking about it. We can't live off passengers in the front half putting up those types of numbers. Now, in Jacob Van Rooyen's defence, he was actually good in the ruck. He was 9 hit-outs to 3 in terms of advantage, 9 hit-outs to advantage to 3 when he went in there, and I actually thought he was good. But the reality is, from a forward line perspective with those 3, too many passengers. We just cannot carry that type of output. And you're not going to win a lot of games. And the thing that kills you, and I said it before, when you've got a guy who's effectively a winger, you got another guy who was a winger his whole career. So we're talking about Harry Sharp and Ed Langdon, and another guy who's still trying to become a defensive forward like an Alex Neil-Bullen in Tom Sparrow, as your other ones to complement the tall forwards down there. Fuck, we're just going to keep having the same conversations where it's like Track pulled 3 goals out of his ass. Harvey Langford chipped in with a couple. We found one from Max, heaven forbid if he could kick straight. We found one from Trent Rivers. We got a couple from Cade Chandler. We've kicked 9 or 10 goals, but we haven't actually got any output from our traditional forwards. It's just going to continue to hurt us.
Look at GWS.
Oh, mate.
He kicked 7.
Yeah, and we kicked 7 on the weekend. It's crazy.
The steak knives, that's what they got him for.
Yeah.
Set of steak knives. And they got him for like pick 78.
There you go.
And he's the best forward in the comp.
Yeah, I know. He's amazing.
Yeah.
But like, we can't rest on that, Scott. It is what it is. We've got to move on. We've got to find options. But yeah, is it?
We haven't. We've walked into this draft the last few years, and we've gone and got elite ball users. We can't walk into the next 2 drafts, and we've got no picks. But we have to go and get a tall forward.
Yeah, of course we do.
Like the Jed Walter.
Yeah.
Who's
Ollie
the
Lord's
other?
the other one. I think
Ollie Lord.
He looks good. He looks better than what we've currently got.
He just looks like a tall version of Bailey. He's a bit soft.
Yeah, but he's just better. He's actually like more physical than you think. I think you're getting too caught up in the look. He's better than what we've got, Scotty. And we've got to look around, and it's just going to continue to come back and haunt us. And it was a great example of it on the weekend. When you play
Oscar Allen.
When you play a defensive outfit like Hawthorn, like they're not a defensive outfit, they're an attacking outfit. When you play against a defense like that, who are so good in the air, Sicily, CJ, Weddle, good luck, Melbourne. Because what we've got standing next to them on the weekend, Charlie Spargo was standing next to James Sicily at times. Bailey Fritsch had him for most of the day. Yes, losing Melksham and Petty hurts you, but Melksham's not going to be there after next year. We still don't know whether Petty's a forward or a backman. And then Daniel Turner's a bit of a swing man.
They're not forwards though.
We're not going to put Tommy McDonald back up forward, and he's only got a couple more years in him.
Tommy McDonald is an absolute. He's a 1989 Grange. He is a fine wine, that man. He has been so good.
Yeah, he was good on the weekend as well.
He's been good all year. He's so underrated this year, how good he's been.
Yeah, he's been great. But it doesn't solve our problem up forward, Scott. Defensively, we're holding up.
It leaves another hole when he's gone.
Yeah, so
we're going to be plugging gaps, and we talk about how good we're looking. Like the kids look great, but Stephen May's getting old. His hamstrings aren't going to last, and his feet. Yep. Got Max Gawn, the best ruckman of all time. He's going to slow down. And we've got no key forward.
Yeah.
So that you've got your spine is pretty much cooked. So Stephen May, Max Gawn, no forward.
Yeah, but you're getting a bit too doom and gloom. We've got time to rectify some of these problems moving forward.
Our first pick to Essendon.
We got Xavier Lindsay, Scott. We got Xavier Lindsay.
He's not 6'8" playing in the forward line, though.
Yeah, but do you want a Xavier Lindsay or not? Do you want what is the modern day game now, where you need some polish?
Well, is it going to get to a point where the ruckman's not really as?
Oh,
is it?
What are you doing? You're freezing.
Well, look at Cripps. Cripps has been playing in the ruck.
You're freezing the big fellas out. You're making your own extinct, are you? You're like
we just got to get
like a dinosaur.
I read something the other day that other clubs are looking at Will Varell as a backup option.
Yeah.
Is he doing anything in the twos?
Not really. I've watched maybe half of the games.
He's never played a game.
No, he hasn't. But if the season continues on the way it is, I think you might see him at some point down the track, and maybe he gets a run of 4.
Why are we scared of putting Max forward?
Maybe
he can't kick.
Maybe because he can't kick. He keeps kicking behinds. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe because he can't kick. I just quickly, before we wrap up, I just wanted to talk about...
I've dribbled a bit. I've had cold and flu. I've had the man flu today, so
that's right.
Apologies to the coughing to everyone.
No, that's okay, mate. It's all right. It's going around.
Yeah, the D's.
No, I just wanted to talk about Jake Bowie just to wrap up on a high. So Jake Bowie, I thought his game was excellent again. He had 28 disposals, almost 600 metres gained, 9 marks. He went at 90% efficiency. When I thought most of the team, I think you're actually right. So Harvey Langford, Xavier Lindsay weren't fumbly at all. This man wasn't fumbly at all. Where's he ranking for you? I reckon he's a sneaky All-Australian selection that people are sleeping on. I reckon his form's that good.
Short, little, pasty redhead, no chance. They won't pick him.
What if he was a beautiful...
Sorry to all the redheads out there. That's so harsh.
That's all right.
I'm just a tall, lanky idiot.
Yeah, blonde idiot.
Yeah. Nah, because Salo never got...
Oh, I mean, Salem had a couple of really good years, but, mate, I reckon the way that Jake Bowie's tracking at the moment is...
Well, who's he matched up to? Who's the best halfbacks in the comp right now?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
I just know how good this is.
But as much as you said all that stats then, I didn't actually notice him as much as what I noticed Langford and Lindsay and others, because I think he just goes about it. He just gets in and under, and I don't know. I don't notice him as much as others.
Maybe.
But he's clean. He's very clean.
I thought he was tremendous, absolutely tremendous. I liked Riv's game as well.
Rivers was fantastic. See, that's another guy.
Got him back in the middle for most of it. He attended just over half of the centre bounces.
He seems pretty settled here in Melbourne as well, because he's another Perth boy. So
yeah, no, he seems
very settled here in Melbourne. But his drive with his legs is strong. But all of them are strong now. Like they just break that line with the legs and the push through every stoppage. It was nice to see. Like Riv's not a bad kick.
Yeah,
he's penetrating.
Yeah, no,
he's penetrating. But
it was it was nice to see him released in there as well, because we just needed Judd McKay.
He deserves to be in there. Judd's back now, so there's no reason why Riv should be playing half back.
Yeah, I agree. Just the only mitigating circumstance is whether he has to play a role on a key player. Like, I don't know, do we give Judd the job of Charlie Cameron this weekend? Probably. But then you think about how good their medium forwards are, like Bailey and Rayner when he floats forward. Like, it might make sense for Riv Dog to go behind the ball, but I'd rather see him operating in the middle and hopefully continuing to see him.
They'll be thawing out up in Queensland tonight after.
Yeah, well, they'll be
near like North. I was cheering hard for North. I think everyone was cheering hard for North, but
so was I. But they'll be feasting on us, the Lions.
Oh yeah, we'll lose by 180.
Stop that! Fucking hell. Honestly,
we don't have a forward line, mate. There's the goals are going to come from no one.
No, the goals come if we get Harrison Petty and Jake Melksham back into the lineup, and we can play Daniel Turner up forward as well, potentially. But Jacob Van Rooyen, you probably persist. I think Jeffo will get dropped. I wonder why Aiden Johnson isn't given a chance to bash and crash on the weekend when I spoke about Hawthorn's tall defenders. I think missed opportunity.
That's actually a good point, actually. That him being out, like, I think we saw enough in the first few rounds. I don't know, he's gone off him pretty quickly, but I'd much rather him be pinch hitting in the ruck than Jacob Van Rooyen.
It's not a great ruckman, I reckon, Ado, but I don't know if it necessarily matters for that 10-15% of game time, which sounds a little bit
There's
silly.
enough good players around that ball to help out. With
Exactly.
Cozzy in the middle on the weekend, that just needs to happen every week.
Well, we saw a lot of it. I think he attended 70% of centre bounces.
Yeah,
So
that was nice to see.
that was better. Cozzy was
Chin was a bit quieter.
much quieter than he's been recently. Didn't hit scoreboard, didn't have any goal assists, so no real impact from a scoring perspective.
I'd love Bowie to be able to... We don't have a key forward, but I'd love Bowie to be delivering it into the forward line more.
I thought you were going to say I would love Bowie to be 6'8" with his skill set.
Yeah.
And then
Like Clary forward.
yeah,
He's 6'3".
maybe not to get negative, but what do we do with Bebe? Because he had 4 disposals, he missed 2 set shots, and it's just not happening for him in front of the big sticks. I thought his pressure was.
He's a good field kick. He could play behind the ball again.
He was Scotty. He was meant to play more as a high half forward, and we've seen that at times this year where he's had 16, 17 disposals, and he's looked okay. But I don't know what
He's just not a kid. I don't know. Maybe that's way on. You've had kids. It sucks. Newborns are hard work. I don't know how much work he's putting into the newborn, but he's obviously doing a lot because he's not playing well.
No, you just get on with it, Bailey. Come on.
Yeah.
But I'm at a loss with him. Like I really am. He looks so devoid of confidence. I don't know. Do we just continue to persist with him?
He should have kicked those 2 goals and then you give him a pass. He kicks those 2 and it's a pass mark because he's a small medium forward. Like he's not tall forward.
Probably.
I don't know. It's just
it's hard. It's a hard watch with him. Like
he needs his best years when we've had 2 prong. He's the third. He's now playing as our focal point.
A little bit because
he's at least 1 or 2. Like
yeah. Well, that's why I mentioned.
And he's not a key forward. Like that's the
the
expectation on him. Is the reason why he's not going well.
But the mix for me just simply has to be Turner or Petty plus Melksham and then Frida. That mix tends to work because Melk just plays above his weight range and he always has, or his height range as well. So that'll be interesting to see what we do in recent weeks. But again, it's not going to solve this conundrum moving forward because Jakey Melksham's not going to be there forever. Harrison Petty probably is a defender. And then we're all sweating and hoping that Jacob Van Rooyen can become the player that we think he might be.
Yeah, but we did the same thing with
Sam.
Everyone thought Sam was going to be it.
Oh!
And the weight of the expectation of being that key forward. No one wants to be a key forward at Melbourne when you've got Petrarca running in like a headless chook and then burning everyone.
He doesn't burn.
He can't kick.
He can kick.
He cannot kick.
It's just his strike rate isn't as high as you would like it to be. He can definitely kick, Scott. It's ridiculous.
He can't kick.
It's a fallacy. It's not like he can't kick and he burns every opportunity.
No, he can't kick.
There's worse kicks in our side. But yes,
who?
It is frustrating.
Who's worse?
Jack Viney.
Oh, yeah, by a country mile, but track's right near him. Clayton Oliver's not a good kick either.
Well, we've spoken about this.
So our three central midfielders that start in at every contest
we're having the same,
are our biggest butchers of the ball.
We're having the same conversation that we had after the 2023 semi-final against Carlton. This is the exact same conversation we had, and we're back there, and we're nearly 2 years on. And
Get Harvey Langford in the middle.
Oh,
he's a dead-eyed dick.
So
you would be licking your lips if you're a key forward and he's got the ball.
He's so good. He's so good. Let's leave it on Harvey. Let's go full circle.
Love Harvey Langford.
Let's go full circle. So we spoke about Harvey.
So what was it? 2.9 over 12 years.
Or whatever you want it to be, Scott. You write the check. You get it done. Hit up Paul Guerra, hit up the new CEO and just say, Paul, this is how much you got to pay.
Paul needs to get us a home base.
He knows that. Everyone knows that. He doesn't need you or me or anyone else that supports this football club to tell him that. That's what we need to do. It's pretty obvious. And it will get done. I have no doubt.
Who's out there? We need a key forward. Just go and do something, Dees.
We need it. We need it.
Get a king.
Get a king. Get a dogger.
Get a king. Dogger's coming.
And let's go.
Dogger's in. Dogger doesn't want to play key forward though. He doesn't have to. Max Gorn's retiring. He'd come back and beat. And him and Kalani White. Oh Jesus, Kalani centre forward, full forward. Then we win. We win 2028, 2029.
You're talking about
miss 2030 and probably win 31 and 32.
You're talking about winning flags just because of those positional changes. Oh, we'll leave it on that, mate. It's been good.
Yeah.
I've got to get out of here.
Same.
Got to set up for tomorrow, and there's a lot going on. And then I'm in Noosa next week. Ooh, look at me. What a Melbourne supporter I am.
Good luck to Dave and Jules.
Yeah, good luck. Mum and Dad are taking care of the kids for 4 days.
Haven't done that for 30 years.
Oh, mate. 3.5-year-old toddler running around. Like, you talk about track running around like a headless chook. I think Harry is actually
Harry's got a better kick than track.
He's been kicking the footy a lot lately.
It wouldn't be hard.
Finally got into it. But, it's going to be a lot of work for Mum and Dad to take care of the kids. But I'm going up to a close friend's wedding.
Perko.
Who's a massive Melbourne supporter, Chris. So shout out to him. He loves the club. And it's going to be good. I'm getting a bit of respite. I finished my day job Friday this week, and I need the breather.
Do you have a job?
Huh?
Do you have a job?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Apparently I do these things. I know a lot about these particular things that we're doing right now. Is that a job? Don't know. Mate,
really.
Thank you for pushing through. I know you're not feeling...
I'll see you in 26.
I know you're not feeling tip-top.
One and done.
Yeah, we'll see you 26. How many games do we win for the year then, Scotty?
This year?
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, fuck it. That's it, you reckon? So we lose West Coast to Marvel? We're going to lose that one, are we? Later in the year?
No one goes to Marvel. Just ask Hardwick.
There'll be 8,000 there. It'll be absolutely diabolical.
Oh, we'll get the work tickets. We'll go sit in the Medallion Club.
No, I think we just I'll sit on the opposite side, and we'll bring in, I don't know. I could probably just yell to you and speak to you from the other side of the field. I'll just be on the other wing.
50,000 on the weekend was nice.
It was really good.
Saturday Arvo, there's a lot of kids sport and a lot of local sport on at 2:00 on a Saturday. So
it was really good. It was a good crowd figure. Keep turning up. There's some positive signs. It's going to be patchy. Caden McDonald spoke about that on recent shows. He's right. It's just going to be inconsistent.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed being there. Thoroughly enjoyed.
You did. You just didn't enjoy the umpire.
It needs the rain, but God, the weather's good.
It's beautiful, but it's going to get cold at some point. It kind of has to. So,
does it?
I think so.
I don't think it is. I think it's going to be the warmest winter on record, I reckon.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
No idea.
Well, Scotty.
We can't go to the snow. There'll be none.
No. So we've got to stay in Melbourne.
So find something else, Melbourne supporters. If you're heading up to Bulla, you're not going to be able to.
Don't worry about the snow. We were meant to do a show from the snow, but I don't know if we're going to do that anymore. I don't know if people enjoy
Take your mountain bike.
I don't think people enjoy the gag or the comedy around it.
No?
Oh, we're 3 and 6. We're 15th. It's not a great place to be, is it? If we were 6 and 3.
It is when you're watching the kids. It is when I got a real thrill out of seeing Harvey Langford live.
I think that's
and watching Will watch it as well. Will but he's already got that resilience of every Melbourne supporter out there. He goes, Dad, we're not going to win today, but I'm really going to enjoy today. Yeah. That from an 8-year-old is pretty cool, but also very, very sad because he knows we suck.
Yeah, but it's a development year. We've got to keep telling ourselves it's a development year.
We do not bounce unless we get a forward.
No. And we can't just accept losing every week. I think Kevin Sheedy once said it. There's no such thing as honourable losses. So we're not going to sit here and try and act as if it's...
I don't want to be Essendon. I don't want to be North Melbourne. I don't want to be St Kilda.
No.
Gold Coast is bouncing. They're going to be good this year.
Got to go big.
100%.
Got to replenish and got to get aggressive at trade table and get in more talent that can use the footy because that's what the game demands. So I'll leave it on your point that Will made. I really like that.
Yeah.
You're rocking up. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to watch these kids grow and watch the senior players compliment them. and we'll continue to evolve our forward handball game, and we'll take a few scalps in the back half of the year, and we'll set ourselves up for 2026. It won't be a wasted year. There's still a lot to gain out of it. So I'll leave you on that. But Scotty, thank you.
Well done, mate.
You've pushed on. I know you're not feeling tip-top, so I do appreciate it.
Well,
and I'll speak to you. I'll take that edit out that you people are going to be like, what's the edit? But
what's the edit?
I'll just take it out. Oh, just we're talking about Jesse, but that's okay. They won't know. They won't know. So it's okay.
Jesse Hogan.
Yeah, we'll just have to take it out. You can't throw. Oh, you're just throwing people under the bus. That's all.
Oh, can't have that.
I'm not going to put it in there. That's all right. Now the listener's going to be like, what the fuck did he say? So anyway, now I'm going to get
take it out. Now I'm going to put it back in just a story.
Now I'm going to get a flurry of messages from people. But anyway, the secrets of the debrief. Thank you, Scotty.
See you, mate.